I don't spend a lot of time talking to my 4 kids about intermarriage, but I do spend a lot of time letting them know how strongly I feel about in marriage, and that's what I believe is the key to Jewish continuity. While there is much ambiguity in our happily chaotic household, and a couple of my kids are here tonight and they will tell you there's a lot of chaos and a lot of ambiguity, there is none when it comes to this crucial issue of in marriage. In fact, it is one of the highest Jewish values I am trying so hard to teach by creating for my kids a joyous Judaism. We have all the cool Jewish apps. We've had a Hamilton-themed Seder. When the Knicks were good, we gave out Linsanity-themed Mishloach Manot. By creating cool Jewish experiences, or what I think are cool Jewish experiences, I believe I'm making a positive case for my kids for choosing in marriage and thus Jewish continuity. Now, I want to give you a little bit of backstory because I think it connects old school conservative Judaism with the social media studded Judaism that our kids are growing up with today. I was raised in a conservative and Zionist home in Queens in the 1970s, and that was a time when the shadow of the Holocaust and Israel's vulnerability loomed large over the American Jewish world. My dad cared so deeply about the future of the Jewish people that he told my sisters and me that intermarriage was absolutely the worst thing we could do, that the pain we would cause would literally take years off his life. Now, I would never, ever communicate my feelings about in marriage to my children in that negative way. The Jewish model that I aspire to is the Judaism of excitement, community, and connection to Israel. And that's why all of us are here at BJ. In our home, Shabbat dinner is a weekly dinner party with a roving cast of guests, Jewish and non-Jewish, a wacky centerpiece that reflects that week's Parsha, way too much parve dessert, and kids falling asleep on the couch or at the table in the middle of it all. We attend Saturday morning services every week and make a big production out of everything, but of all the holidays, with a very close-knit group of BJ families who are here tonight, whom we call the Village. And BJ is our spiritual home. And when we're all together here, as we are tonight, it feels like we have a winning Jewish hand. And yet, we all know what the numbers and the studies show, and you do not need me to repeat them. Despite all that we in the BJ community are doing, showing our kids and our young people what a gift Judaism is in our lives, I know there is a real chance that one or more of my own kids could intermarry. Now, when my kids ask me why it's so important for them to choose a Jewish partner, I tell them the truth, that I believe in marrying secures the Jewish future, and that they're part of something that is larger than themselves. My kids do not really want to hear that. But what I also tell them is that I can see that they love and value Judaism. And wouldn't it be great if they could share those feelings and build their own brand of joyous Judaism with someone who understands it? But still, they could intermarry. And as painful as that would be, and I know it is for many people here, I would not expect or want our rabbis to perform that intermarriage ceremony. Because the issue is not about any one Jew or any one family. It is about who we are as a Jewish people and the continuity of our peoplehood. We have survived so long in part because we are a people of rules and laws, and because we're willing to change those laws if and when we believe they are no longer ethical in a modern society. That's why there are female rabbis and gay rabbis. The conservative movement made those correct decisions because they were dealing with modern ethical questions. But the issue of whether or not rabbis should perform intermarriage is not an ethical question. It's a practical question. If we believe there is an entity called the Jewish people, then there is a tent that we are inside. Now, of course, that tent should be open, but it is still a tent, an enclosure. We can't back away from the issue of Jewish particularism because it has kept us together until this day, and God willing will keep us together for many, many generations into the future. We shouldn't be afraid to preach in marriage because we fear that our kids and our non-Jewish friends will think we're judging those outside our faith, or that we're prejudiced or disdainful. Being for Jewish survival does not make you against anyone else. For while in marriage is a Jewish value I hold dear, at the same time, I profoundly and wholly believe in the importance of acceptance and inclusion in our community. And I doubt there is anyone here tonight who does not feel the same way. That's why we chose BJ. You can hold Jewish particularism and the concept of interfaith and multicultural inclusion in your heart at the same time. We read a few weeks ago in Mishpatim, "You shall not oppress a stranger, for you know the feelings of a stranger, having yourselves been strangers in the land of Egypt." It is more important than ever that intermarried families feel comfortable and genuinely welcome at BJ and in the Jewish world at large. Let's bring them in. Let's show them we want them to join us. Let's market conversion better. In the book of Ruth, it's really simple. Ruth declares to Naomi, her Jewish mother-in-law, "Wherever you go, I will go. Your people will be my people. Your God will be my God." And that's it. She's in. And some progressive rabbis believe that non-Orthodox conversion, should work that way. That once you choose to cast your lot with the Jews, you are part of the mishpacha, and you can learn the details later. Now, it's not always that easy, but conversion can and should be a warm embrace of our beautiful tradition, a pleasure-filled pursuit of learning and practice. That's how it is here. Have you ever been at BJ when a convert receives his or her first aliyah on a Shabbat morning? There's dancing and singing and hugging and tears. I remember one Shabbat in particular very clearly because my son and I ran downstairs to hug this very tall man we'd never seen before, and we told him, "Welcome home." And we meant it. But conversion is a very personal decision, and not every non-Jewish spouse wants to convert before or after their marriage. And that's their choice, that's fine. I think here at BJ, maybe we're not marketing just how progressive and inclusive we are when it comes to conversion of children from these intermarried families, but also to the acceptance of the ger toshav, that is, the non-Jew who lives among us. And that's a paradigm that was discussed last week by Yedida Koren of the Hartman Institute. A child's BJ Hebrew school education is their conversion, as long as they dip in the mikveh before their bar bat mitzvah. The non-Jewish parent joins them at the Torah, as all Jewish parents do, though the non-Jewish parent does not wear a talit and technically is not receiving an aliyah. Now, on the surface, it may seem like there is an obvious tension between exclusivity and particularism, the desire for our children to marry within our own faith, and inclusivity, the belief that we should lean in towards those who make a different choice, in the hope that their children will be raised as Jews and or formally converted. But there doesn't have to be. We should not and we cannot be afraid to step forward publicly and privately in our own homes to teach our children that our beautiful, welcoming Judaism does have a very specific definition. All communities do. And if they don't, they become so diluted, that at a certain point, they are no longer a community. They no longer exist. I pray that my 4 kids, who believe me, are giving me a very tough time on this topic and on many other topics, are getting the message. And I pray that the rabbis whom we love and we respect and we admire continue to perform only in marriages, because in doing so, they are protecting the Jewish continuity that we all care so deeply about. But I also pray that people who are hurting over this difficult issue, and I know I may become one of them someday, will not see this as a rejection of them or as a personal affront, but will see it as an affirmation of our peoplehood, and will know that this is a place where they are always welcome.